Struggling with intimacy. My name is Papu and welcome to our marriage and relationship podcast. I think the question really is, are you struggling with intimacy? Or maybe why do we sometimes struggle with intimacy? Paul and Sandy Coughlin published a book around 2006 with the title Married but Not Engaged. And the subtitle was Why Men Check Out and What You Can Do to Create the Intimacy You Desire. I think the book basically advances the argument that men in general struggle in this department of intimacy. Of course, they go at length and trying to show why men struggle with intimacy, that they are the product of their environment. You might actually agree with that, even if you have not read the book, or even if you don't really know where the angle they are coming from. That if it is true that men do not cry, if men are brought up thinking or being convinced that they should not feel, they should not be in touch with their emotions, then it shouldn't surprise us if they are going to struggle in the area of intimacy. Because intimacy basically is the ability to be vulnerable, to be in touch with your emotions, to be emotionally involved. So if you have a person who cannot cry, if you have a person who is discouraged from expressing emotion, how are you going to have a person, the very person who's going to be intimate? So it is a fact, I think, that most men struggle in this area. We don't say all men. There are some women also may be struggling in this area for one reason or another. There are, and the issue is consistency. You'd find that maybe once in a while somebody will just express some intimate moment, but it is something that is not sustained. It is not consistent. There are many factors, of course, that may be the reason for this emotional deficiency. But the painful thing is, sometimes we misdiagnose and we often assume wrongly and conclude falsely, incorrectly, that lack of intimacy is evidence of absence of love, that the person who is struggling to express to be intimate is struggling because he is not in love, because he does not love. And so it's easy for wives and for married wives and females, women to assume that, because how can you say you love and yet you're not engaged, and yet you're not emotionally involved? Like I say, that's the unfortunate part, because you might discover that the person is highly committed and in love, but is really, really struggling in that area. Not only struggling at times, but sometimes she doesn't understand what is expected of him. He hears the complaints, but he can't understand, he can't decipher, he can't interpret to see exactly what is it that he needs to do. And this often leads to divorce, with the wife complaining that she doesn't feel loved, she doesn't feel appreciated, she's married to a zombie, as some would say. But the husband, on the other hand, might also be frustrated, feeling that the wife is not grateful, he's not sure what she wants, he's doing everything. But the wife says, no, you're not engaged. I feel like I'm alone in this marriage. You are not there. Even if I suggest that we go seek for counselling, you're not involved. If you have challenges, you bottle up. You don't. If I don't talk, if I don't express, it's going to be quiet. You seem to be reserved. But when you speak to your friends, you are able to talk. But when you come at home, you are this kind of person who's reserved. In church, you are seen as a nice guy, a nice Christian. But at home, you're quiet and there's nothing that comes out. It's like there's a fear in this person's heart of expressing intimacy. And that could actually be the problem. The couple I mentioned observe that in the area of intimacy, you need intention, you need attention, and you need action. But all of those may be very difficult for someone. What I'm trying to do here is just introduce this so that if you see that you're struggling in these areas, then you can be able to find help. So intention. Sometimes you might even have the intention. Intention is basically the theoretical conviction that I need to do that. There's nothing wrong in showing emotions. There's nothing wrong. In other words, you are committed in a relationship. And conceptually, you see the advantage of doing that. You see why it's important to be supportive, why it's important, but you are not able to do it. In other words, while there may be others who might think that it is a sign of weakness to do those things, but you may be struggling, even though you are aware. So there is theoretical conviction, the ability to embrace the vulnerability, the feeling that if you express intimacy, you're going to be regarded as a weakling. That could be another problem for others. That no, I cannot do this. They are arguing against that. But you could find somebody who does not argue and says, "Hey, this thing it's good. It would be good if I could do it, but I'm struggling to do it," and that makes it the problem acute. But I say that for some of us, it's like we're getting out of our comfort zone. If I must go to the mall with my wife or window shopping and for grocery, it may be painfully uncomfortable, but it is not harmful. So there are certain things you just do, even if you are not, they don't make you feel excited, as long as you know that your partner can enjoy that. And I say, do it, especially when you are sure that your partner will actually appreciate that. And I'm sure for partners, when they know how tough it is for their partners to do some of these things, they would really show appreciation and encouragement and really, really blow this thing and say, "Man, that was beautiful what you did." But remember, intentions are there. Sometimes you've got the intention, but it doesn't show in the attention and the action. And what we have realized in marriage, that attention is needed. You're not going to get married and not be part of the setup. Attention is basically checking in. It's basically saying, "I'm here. I want to be involved with the children in your life, what is happening in your family, with your siblings, at work, with your studies. I'm here. I want to be involved." That's what it basically means. You are there. That's attention, and you are willing to do everything to make this thing move in the right direction. And then, of course, there's action. Action is doing something. Attention is being there, it's presence, it's being involved, it's being there. But the next thing is, what can I do? Sometimes you have to ask that question. What can I do? Ask the wife, what can I do? And sometimes she will say, but you should know. Well, if she says that, then which means whatever you're supposed to do is known. Ask your sisters then. Ask your friends, ask your mother, ask somebody, and see, in this situation, what would you advise I do? And then you learn from that. Of course, it would still be very good if your wife would be willing to tell you, or your partner would be willing to tell you what you can do. But I think above all, get counseling. I had a friend who called me and says, "Pastor, please help me. My wife was sick and I didn't know what to do. I was there, I tried, but she complains that I wasn't there. And I don't know what I was supposed to have done. Please help me in this area." In other words, seek counsel. Get counsel and find ways. Because if you don't do that, it may actually get to a point where your relationship may be on the rocks for reasons that are not even, that can be addressed, to be honest. So I think the parting word is take each other seriously. If your wife complains, if your partner complains, I think that's what happens in marriage. We just take each other for granted. If your partner complains, take that seriously. Listen and do something. Do a research, investigate, find out, of course, from her and then from others, and what you can do. Be willing to do everything. Remember, intention, attention, and action, all of those would actually help you to grow in the area of intimacy. For some of us, it's something new. It's uncharted territory, uncharted waters. You're coming from a family where that was never shown, but this is your family now. Let the whole cycle stop with you, and let your children know and see and observe how this thing can be done. I wish you all the best. God bless you.
The Marriage and Relationship Podcast was brought to you by Dr. Papu. Dr. Papu is a devout Christian leader, an inspirational speaker, and an experienced pastor who has worked with couples for the last 35 years in his ministry. You can record and submit your questions to Dr. Papu by following this link, www.anchor.fm/Dr. J. Papu. If you'd like to have private consultations or counseling sessions, please send your email to drpapuonline@yahoo.com. That's DRPAPUONLINE@yahoo.com.